welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM-Anians. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
Yeah, it is. It's the big show, and you know it. It is the Sports Corner Show with me, Ralph Williams, and Smokin' Jim Frazier every Tuesday, 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. And you're really going to enjoy. If Ray FIDEPALDO is going to possibly join us here today, he's tied up right now with the Aaron Rodgers press conference. And of course, you know, Aaron Rodgers makes things on his time, which I'm actually quite surprised that the Steelers are actually putting up with this. But, you know, it is what it is. Aaron Rodgers is here. I really didn't want him here, but he's here. And, you know, it's on his time. So he decided to start it around 3:15 and screw my show. So there you go. All right. But anyway, we're going to get started here. I'm trying to get a hold of Ray FIDEPALDO right now. See where Ray is as far as this. Ray has said he will be. And what Matt is going to join us about is he's going to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins hired on Muse. And Muse is from the New York Rangers, a assistant. This is his very first head coaching job. So we're going to see where he goes as far as that goes. All right. So, all right, Smokin' Frazier, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Hey, thanks.
This show today is dedicated to Ralph second, my nephew Sean Negley Jr. and my wife and I are Lauren Madler. I also want to say Bob O'Connor, when he was mayor of Pittsburgh, Corey O'Connor's son, who is now running for mayor, Corey O'Connor's son, Bob had him as the chief of staff, and also was the spokesperson for a long, long time. Before we pay some bills, we're going to go into the hang on a minute. Okay, there we go. All right. We're going to go into the comment section here. Let me see who we have. And then we'll go into our Facebook page. Well, me see where we're at here. If I can get this to work. Always having technical problems here every single week. Don't know why, but it is what it is. All right, I can't get into the comment section. Isn't that wonderful, huh? There we go. Oh, so much for that. All right. But anyway, welcome to the program, and I'll get started here with my rant in a couple minutes here. But what I want to talk about today on my rant is all you fans out there who criticized Mason Rudolph, criticized Miles Kinnebrew, got angry with all right, we're back. Sorry about the technical issues. JD Wyatt said, "What's good, Jim and Ralph? We're having a great day today, JD. It's a great thing going on. We have Aaron Rodgers here. We have people crying about the Trump rally a few weeks back about how people were, trying to complaining about how Miles Kinnebrew and what's his face, Mason Rudolph was at the." All right, now I have to go off my face off the air for a second here because I gotta take care of a couple things. But you know, this thing with everyone crying and complaining, getting angry, getting mad because Miles Kinnebrew and Mason Rudolph and Rocky Bleier were at the Trump rally, and they handed out jersey. The Rocky Bleier handed out. So therefore, since he decided to do that, what had happened was everybody got angry. I'm going to turn in my season tickets. I refuse to follow the Steelers because of this now. I refuse this. I refuse that. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Okay, first of all right, these players, and the Rooney's issued a statement, have a right to do whatever they want to do, which of course I know some people are saying that shouldn't go on. But they're complaining about and getting angry for nothing over something that's totally ridiculous. So you know what, Steeler fans, do me everything. Just shut up, please. Please shut up. Okay. That's my rant for today. Go ahead, Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Hey, good job, Ralph. I
Thank you.
tell you what, man. He has my vote. Aaron Rodgers had my vote for team captain, and I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Hey, listen, this is a guy that gave the Pittsburgh Steelers a discount double check of only $13 million a year. So the Pittsburgh Steelers will have enough money to sign the greatest player in Steel history, and I'm talking about TJ Watt, to a $42 million contract. Well deserved on TJ Watt. I don't blame him for holding out. You can't get injured if you're not there practicing. So I'm sure the Steelers have drawn up a contract, and when that contract comes to $42 million, TJ Watt will sign and be your defensive captain along with Aaron Rodgers, your offensive captain.
All right. We have John Tagg watching from the East Liberty section of Pittsburgh. John, thank you for watching. He is on Facebook, and you can, too, put your comments out on Facebook. And also, don't forget to put your comments here in the comment section if you're on YouTube. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platform. We are also on Kick now, and we're back with the Huddle Sports people. I have a couple technical things I got to work out with them, but we're back with the Huddle Sports Network. We're on today with them. I was able to get that worked out. So we're on some new platforms, soon to be on the Oracle. Again, the Oracle Network here. And I want to say something real quick here. I have had major issues here in my home. Last Tuesday, I had to take my dog to the vet. I was tied up there all day, and that's why I had to postpone both shows last Tuesday. And yesterday, I got sick. I don't know what I ate. We had for dinner. Something upset my stomach and was making me lightheaded, so I had to cancel yesterday's The Way I See It. The Way I See It will be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Thursday, 7 p.m. The Way I See It will be on. My guest will be Tony Moreno, Republican mayor running for the city of Pittsburgh. And also, don't forget on Saturday, the doubleheader. We're also to be back to triple header coming real soon because we're going to be rebranding the old Sports Rap Show, which is now with the South Florida Tribune. That's fine. That's Scott's deal. Scott and I never worked with the South Florida Tribune, now has it. And so, that's their deal. All right. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. 724-2010-500 Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. There it is right there. Call them today. 724-2010-500. If you do not have your air conditioner serviced, shame on you. You better call Mata. 724-2010-500. Despite the fact the weather's been horrible, it still might even be able to come back and be hot for this summer. So, but anyway. All right, let's get back to the comment section. Smokin' Jim, we'll get back into the Steelers, but and some other things going on. Let's see what we have here. RXJ's coming in here. He says, hello, and I said, or hello, everybody, and I go, hello to you too, RXJ. Let me put your comment up as well. There's JD Wyatt right there. I had some tech issues starting off, so we didn't get a chance to really get up there. There we go. Hello to you too, RXJ. Thanks for being part of the program, as always. And you can also comment as well in the comment section. If it pertains to what we're talking about, you can comment in the comment section. If it pertains to what we're talking about. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's get started here. I'm waiting for Ray FIDEPALDO. He's supposed to be on here in the next 5 minutes or so. Let me see where he's at now. I'm going to get him on the phone here on the Mike Dotson phone. Our guests today are sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty in Ocean City, Maryland. Call Mike today, area code 410-596-1681. Mike Dotson Realty. Give him a call today. He will take care of all of your needs as far as real estate in Ocean City, Maryland, and the surrounding area. Mike, let me tell you a little story about Mike here. He has, not only just regular property, but he also has rentals. The hotels are expensive down here. I just talked to a friend of mine who wants to come down. I might have him stay here at my place because he said the hotels were $500 a night. You got to take out a loan. So call Mike today. A short-term rentals, any kind of rental, He also, if you want to buy a house and make it a summer home for yourself, or if you're just renting temporarily until because you don't want to pay those expensive hotels, you can go ahead and do that. Mike Thoughts and Realty is our sponsor for our guest today, who should be joining us any minute here, Ray Fittipaldo. He's at the Aaron Rodgers press conference. Smokin' Jim, let's get started. I know it was a great Smokin' Jim's with Aaron Rodgers and TJ Watt. Those are the key issues today we're going to talk about here on Sports Corner. But let's get started. Aaron Rodgers, Smokin' Jim. He's now with the Steelers. Your thoughts? Go ahead.
I kind of thought he sounded a little bit too early for me. I was hoping he wouldn't come until training camp, but he showed his leadership by coming in mandatory mini camp. He went out. He's an avid golfer. Probably could be a scratch pro. He went out to Cam Hayward's golfing charity fundraiser last week. The players welcomed him in with open arms, and he's here now, man. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's still a Hall of Famer from the neck up. I thought he had a good season last year. I think he'll have a better season this year.
All right. No, John, I'm not in New Jersey. I live in Maryland. I live in Ocean City, Maryland. And those of you who don't know, I have moved, but I still talk Pittsburgh sports and national topics as well. So we'll be, no, I didn't move to New Jersey. I moved to Ocean City, Maryland. That's where I currently reside. If anyone is interested, tune into the Ralph's Opinion Show. Go on my YouTube channel, Ralph Williams, RW Mead. I got 3 more subscribers because I was at the Bonfire Restaurant last Thursday and I was at the bank this week. So I was able to, promote, and I got 3 more subscribers. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please follow me on my Twitter X channel as well. I'm trying to get a whole bunch of followers as well on there. But right now, that's where we are here. And today, this show, as always, is brought to you by RW Media Productions. Smokin' Jim, my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers is it's great to have him here. My question is, and I think your concern can be, is the offensive line. Do you think they can protect him, Smokin' Jim?
Well, that remains to be seen. Anybody that says yes or no is speculating at this point. It's going to be an awfully young offensive line. Broderick Jones made a lot of mental mistakes for 2 years at right tackle.
You called it. You called it.
Yeah.
And he hasn't hit a lot in college either, Smokin' Jim, and that's been his big problem. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, he's athletically gifted, and he'll get all the opportunity in the world. But if you make mental mistakes at left tackle, you get your quarterback killed because that's its blind side. But they have a offensive line that could be good, and they have an offensive line that could be the worst in the National Football League. We just have to see. They have to prove it.
Do you think that?
But we know Frazier at center is one of the best centers in the NFL.
Hey, that's your blood relative, right?
Hey, you know it, brother.
Anybody last name Williams or Frazier, they're our blood relatives. I just actually wish that I knew some of the ones that had money. Oh my, but anyway, it looks like Frazier and Williams are common names anyway, but so all right, it's great to be back here this Tuesday. As I said, last Tuesday I had to cancel because my dog had to go to the vet. He was sick and we had some issues, but we got that handled and we're back here today here for Sports Corner on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platform, also on the new Kick Network, and we're also back with the Huddle Sports Network as well. And don't forget, also on Amped Up Sports, you can catch the upload. I will be uploading it onto their website at the end of the show today. So check out Amped Up Sports. So Leo Haggerty and I are restructuring the Saturday show. It'll be on at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. And it'll probably be the Saturday Sports Show, which it once was before. It'll be myself and Leo Haggerty and any guests of our choosing on Saturday as well. You might even hear Smokin' Jim once in a while. You never know. So just to let everyone know that as well. All right. Smokin' Jim, now here's the big topic of the day. And let me see if I can get Ray on here real quick, because he said for me to get in touch with him. He's going to be on by phone because he is, tied up at the press conference here. Let me see if I can get him. So, all right. Okay, here we are. Hello, Ray.
Yep, I got you.
All right, we got Ray FIDEPALDO on with us right now from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Ray, welcome to the program.
Good, Ralph. A little bit busy day down here on the south side, but glad to talk to you.
Yeah, great. It's great to have you on. I'm glad you were able to make some time today for the program, because I know that you're busy down there at Steeler headquarters. Today's the big day. It was the press conference for Aaron Rodgers, as everyone knows. And if you're not, you're hiding under a rock. Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Steelers, showed up today, I guess, to put pen to paper or whatever, just for his press conference. But Ray, tell us a little bit about what Aaron Rodgers had to say today.
Yeah, just from a football perspective, he went through individual drills, but he did not do anything during the team period. So anything 7-on-7 with the receivers, he did not do 11-on-11 team stuff against the defense. And he said that's Mike Tomlin's decision. Mike Tomlin wants him to learn the offense before he goes out there and actually takes reps with the other starters. So, Aaron expects to have the offense down, I think he said, in a couple of weeks or so. So once training camp gets here, next month he'll be ready to go. He'll be under center with the rest of the starters. You just won't see that this week at minicamp.
All right. Let me ask you this question, and I know this is my biggest concern. Smokin' Jim and I were just talking about this before you came on the air. What about this offensive line? Can they protect this? I mean, we're bringing in an all-star quarterback, a guy who's been to the Super Bowl, a guy who will be a future Hall of Famer. Smokin' Jim mentioned earlier in the show here. Is the offensive line going to be capable enough to protect this guy, or is Arthur Smith going to have to put like an extra guy in the backfield, somebody to block a tight end, extra tight end? What's the Steelers looking at to do to protect this guy?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. He's not the guy he was when he was 25 years old. He would run around, make plays, create time for himself in the pocket. But at 41 years old, he's not going to do that. So the play of the offensive line is going to be really important. The way I see it, Ralph, I think Troy Fautun is going to be fine at right tackle. He was going to have a great rookie season until he was hurt. I think the middle is going to be solid too. I think Zach Frazier had a great rookie season at center. I think the guards will be capable. The big question for me is Broderick Jones. He's the
yes. We're just talking about that too, Ray. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
He's the guy who's going to have to do a lot of the work to keep him clean. And there are questions. I'm not going to lie to you. I think there's a hope that Broderick Jones can improve. Until we see it, you can't really believe it.
Oh, exactly. It's always a wait and see thing. All right, Smokin' Jim, say hello to Ray FIDEPALDO. You have any questions for Ray?
Hey, Ray, man, always good to hear you, and thanks for coming on and giving us some insight about Aaron Rodgers and the press conference.
Yeah, happy to do it.
All right, Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Ray?
No, I don't.
All right, Ray, tell us what Aaron Rodgers had to say today at the press conference. You're there. What do you have to say?
Yeah, listen, he said, my biggest takeaway, really, I think a lot of people drew this conclusion over the last 3 months or so, but Mike Tomlin was a really big draw for him. He really liked the way Mike handled this process. I think, as you guys know, that Aaron went through some personal stuff over the last couple of months. And what Aaron said, he wanted to make sure he could be all in on the season before he gave the Steelers a commitment. And apparently Mike was really respectful throughout that process. And Aaron said, when push came to shove, this was going to be the only place for him. And he basically said because of Mike Tomlin. So, he said a lot of other things about Pittsburgh. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers played for Mike McCarthy, who grew up in Greenfield.
Yes.
A lot of those guys guys who were on that Green Bay staff, the Steelers in Super Bowl 45 have Pittsburgh ties. Kevin Green was a coach on that team. Darren Perry was a coach on that team. Ben McAdoo, who grew up in Indiana, PA, was the Titans coach on that team. So he's very familiar with Pittsburgh. And he's looking forward to making this home and getting on with the season. So you won't see much of Aaron here the rest of this week. Mason will still be behind center, but once training camp gets here, Ralph, I think this is, I've been doing this full time since right after that Super Bowl, pretty much since 2011 covering the Steelers. And it's going to be the scrutinized training camp when you consider the quarterbacks. People are going to be wanting to know what Aaron Rodgers does every single minute of the day. So it's shaping up to be a fun summer up there on the trip.
Oh, I think it will be. I think it's going to be an interesting summer. People are going to be on social media going round and round. Speaking of social media, real quick, Ray, I saw a comment. You were on 9, I believe it was, and somebody commented that you're nothing but a clown. Said, "Oh, it's a shame talk about Ray like that," But people say anything on social media, how that goes.
Yeah, what are they? Keyboard warriors, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. My favorite people, So, but anyway, there we are with that. All right, Ray Fittipaldo today is also brought to you in part by Robin Campbell Insurance, 412-366-3399. Give Robin Campbell a call. Farmers, Bristol West Insurance. I tell you what, Robin came to my house. I've been dealing with Robin Campbell now for over 15 years. He actually came to my house and explained everything to me. How many agents do you know do that? Once they get you off the phone, that's the way it is. Good customer service, great guy. Call Robin today, 412-366-3399 for all your insurance needs, whether it's life, fire, home, car, whatever. He even has bundle packages for you. And let me tell you a little something about renter's insurance. You better get that. If you rent any kind of property, please get rental insurance because landlords do not cover a lot of stuff. Your stuff is covered, and that way you don't have to worry about if the Red Cross is available or anything like that. If you have a fire or anything, get renter's insurance. Get it quickly. It's only about $15 a month. Call Rob today, 412-366-3399, Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania area. All right, Ray. Hold on. Let me see if Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Ray?
No, I don't, man. Great insight as usual, Ray. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, Ray.
Absolutely. Yeah, hey, one more thing, guys, before I go. TJ Watt was a no-show today. He's not at minicamp. He's not expected to be here the next couple of days. I think it's a negotiating ploy more than anything. I think it's the contract is still probably going to get done, but a little bit of a surprise that he's not here at minicamp.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next, Ray. Where's the Steelers going with this? I know negotiate probably LeBron wants Myles Garrett money. People out here are going on and on about maybe it's time to trade him, maybe it's time to let him just walk or whatever. I don't know. His play has slipped. Those comments all over the place. What do you think? The Steelers, are they going to be able to pay him this kind of money, and will they?
Yeah, listen, the Steelers have an offer on the table. They are motivated to get this done. TJ said the day after the season ended that he wants to be here. So, I think, it's always going to be about money when these contracts come up. And I think it's about the money. I think the agent is trying to do what's best for TJ and his family. So might get uncomfortable for a little bit here, but my full expectation, whether it's a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, is they'll get that done before the season opener against the Jets.
All right, I got one of your colleagues here who's coming up right now, and the reason he's here is we're getting ready to talk about the Penguins and their new head coach. So say hello to your buddy Matt VENSEL. Matt, I got Ray Fittipaldo on the phone from Steeler headquarters about Aaron Rodgers' press conference today. Matt,
I knew I recognized that voice.
Okay, there you go.
What's up, Matt? How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
All right, there we are. Okay, Ray, thanks for being part of the program as always. Smokin' Jim, you have anything last you want to say before Ray goes?
I'm just going to say T.J. Watt's the greatest Steeler of all time. Pay the man. Give
Pay
him
the
the
man.
$42 million.
There you go. All right.
All right, guys. Good talk.
Couldn't have him on very long. He's down at Steeler headquarters. Aaron Rodgers today had his press conference. Smokin' Jim and I will talk about that down the road this Saturday. Don't forget about the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. We will be talking about the Aaron Rodgers signing and also why T.J. Watt's not in minicamp. We all basically know that as well. And so do not forget to do that as well. All right. It seems like we lost Smokin' Jim here. I don't know why, but we did. I don't know what the deal was with that, but we lost Smokin' Jim. But there's the graphic for that as well. Matt, let's get started with you. What's going on with the Penguins? Tell us a little bit about, the hiring of Dan Muse, I believe his name is, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's the big news.
I'm sorry, we got Smokin' Jim back on the line.
He's
All
back.
right.
Yeah, I mean we've all been waiting for the Penguins to name the coach. They
Yeah,
took their time.
well,
They interviewed a lot of people, which wasn't a surprise. I mean, this is an interesting situation for the Penguins. I mean, they're in the second year of a rebuild. They haven't come out and said that word, but that's where they are as a franchise, and they weren't particularly interested in going after another big name coach. They wanted to vet a lot of different candidates, and they ended up going with a guy in Dan Muse that nobody really saw coming. In hindsight, when you look at everything he's accomplished and kind of his track record as a coach, he won a championship at Yale at NCAA level as an assistant coach. He won a title in the USHL, which is American Junior Hockey League. Had success with the national team development program. I mean, you look at his track record of player development and winning, it does make a lot of sense. It's just he was a guy that kind of flew out under the radar, and I think he makes sense for where this team is as a franchise.
Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Matt VENSEL? And say hello to Matt, because you were off the air here for a minute here. So good.
Hey, what's happening, Matt? Thanks for coming on.
How you doing?
And no, I don't have any questions, Ralph.
All right. Sounds like Smokin' Jim's listening and doesn't want to say any, or it doesn't have any questions for you today. But anyway, Lou Holtz once said, "I learn more by listening than talking." So sometimes you learn more by listening than talking.
It's my approach. It's my approach.
All right. No, is that your approach too, Matt?
Yeah, or I'm just an introvert, and that's me justifying it. But
there you go, Matt. Now, Dan Muse here as the new head coach. What I know, DJ Smith and the Love guy interviewed. What was his name? I'm sorry, I got his last name, but I can't get his first name. They interviewed as well. What was the difference between the three of these guys?
Well, we have yet to really hear from Kyle Dubas. The press conference is going to be on Wednesday. But the way he explained it, it's a combination of player development's a lot of it. With where this team is a franchise, I mean, they're going to have a bunch of young players coming through here. They have 30 draft picks over the next 3 years and some guys in the system. That has a lot to do with it. The fact that, he coached young players and had success, but also the guy has won at every level. And he also has 5 years of it as an NHL assistant, 3 in Nashville. And then he spent the last 2 years in New York. So, it was kind of a blend of the fact that he does have that player development background, but also he's a respected coach. I'm working on a profile of him. So I've talked to a lot of people who have spent time with him along his, coaching career. And this is the kind of guy that's like sleeping in his office, because he's so driven and he's working so hard cutting up film or doing this or that, that he's just pulling out a mattress. So that's one of the hallmarks. And even though he doesn't have a ton of experience with pro players and he's, taking over a team that has Sidney Crosby and some other veterans, he's well-liked, respected as a person, respected as a leader. He's very thorough. It checks a lot of boxes. And you never know with a guy who's going to be a first-time NHL head coach. There's always a good bit of projection there. But all these people spend time with him along the way. aren't surprised that he got this opportunity. And the only thing that would surprise him is if he squandered this opportunity. So we'll see.
Well, if he's hungry enough, Matt, and guys that come into these head coaching jobs that never had one, if he's hungry enough and he's willing, and I think, this could be a good hire, and I'm hoping it is, because the Penguins really need somebody to come in here and fix this whole situation here. And I know that Mike Sullivan, who is now with the Rangers, ran some kind of high-powered offense that he didn't have the talent for. He was shoving a square peg into a round hole. What do you see Dan Muse doing to try? Is he going to try? Do you think he's good at working with this talent? You have young and old.
Yeah, I mean, but I also think a big thing here is, I mean, obviously he's going to come in and try to win his first year and put his best foot forward. And, as long as Sidney Crosby is here, the Penguins are going to say all the right things about still trying to win. But, I think for him, at least in this first year or two, it's going to be more about establishing a culture and what he does with the prospects. And, in terms of the tactics, I'd be curious to see what it looks like. I do think there's some similarities tactically with Mike Sullivan. We'll see how much is in common there and overlap. But, he's a guy who's going to want to get the forecheck going. Talked a lot about, competitive play and getting guys to, honestly, a lot like what you see with the Florida Panthers, with guys tracking back,
right.
Which every team wants that. The Penguins were doing that when they won the Cup a few years ago. So it's about getting guys to buy in. But, I think in terms of the tactics, we'll see. Again, I think he's smart enough to look at the players he has here and try to figure out the best way to work with what he has in the short term, while maybe having a longer term vision that he ultimately wants to work towards once they get the kind of players in there that the Penguins and Kyle Dubas in here are looking to acquire.
All right. Any questions for Matt there, Smokin' Jim?
No, sir.
All right. Matt, you're around Kyle Dubas, when he has press conferences and stuff like that. Does it appear that he is he in line to make any more moves here as far as players go? And I know everyone's been criticizing Tristan Jarry. Yadelkovich, is he coming back? What's the goaltending situation going to look like? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, after the season, Kyle Dubas pretty much said that he doesn't really anticipate the Penguins pushing for a playoff spot next year. The way he put it is, if the Penguins were, contending, it would be, it'd be great of the players to make that happen. And that was his way of saying, like, we're probably not going to have the best team, and it'd be extraordinary if this team was able to go on a run. So we'll see. I think he's kind of looking at this year as another transition year, like last year, where they're going to try to, I do think this year they're going to have more of the young players into the mix. We kind of waited around for most of last year and didn't see guys like Rutger McGroarty and Ville Koivunen get there until the tail end of the year. I do think we'll see some of those young players get implemented. So that's kind of hanging over everything. I do not think the Penguins are going to be big players in free agency. Typically the guys who hit free agency, unrestricted free agency, are in their late 20s, and all the top guys want to get paid for, 7-8 years. And Kyle Dubas has kind of indicated that he doesn't anticipate spending a huge contract on a guy who, is going to be in his 30s when the Penguins are in position to contend again. So if they're going to be active, I think it's going to be in the trade market. They're going to be targeting young players who are already in the NHL or on the doorstep of the NHL, and trying to get those guys in, similar to what we saw with Rutger McGroarty and also Philip Tomasino. And then the other question is, who's going to go? Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, those guys aren't going anywhere unless they ask for it. Probably the same is true for Chris Letang. Then you're looking at guys like Erik Karlsson, and, would they trade Brian Rust? I think that's a possibility, but they'd have to be blown away with an offer. So, and then in terms of the goaltending, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying at the top about how Kyle Dubas kind of hinted that they don't expect to push for the playoffs. And if that's the case, I don't know if they feel any urgency to make a change in goal. I still think Tristan Jarry has negative trade value, so they'd have to give up something in a trade just to unload his contract. So if they're not really looking to win this year, they might as well bring him back, see if he can continue what he was doing down the stretch last year and up his
All
trade
right,
value.
we're having some issues. All right, hang on a second. I'm trying to get this comment off the screen here, and I'm having all kinds of problems here. I don't know why. What we got here? Okay, somebody from Kick here. It looks like. Yep, there we are. So trying to get them off here, and I don't know what the heck is going on. But anyway, we'll work on that some more. See if I can get him out of here. I think it's my mouse that's giving me a problem, but that's okay. I'll fix it. All right, Matt. Thank you for being part of the show today. Smokin' Jim, you have anything you want to talk before Matt gets off the air?
No, sir. Great job, Matt.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Matt, for being part of the program. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical issues here, but we got them all straightened out, I hope. So anyway, thank you for being part of the show. And we'll have you come back on right around training camp time and all that to see how the Penguins are looking in training camp.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
That was Matt VENSEL from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I want to thank him for being on. Smokin' Jim, your comments about what he had to say about the Penguins.
I tell you what, he nailed it when he said the reason why the Penguins hired a coach that didn't have any previous NHL head coaching experience is because he's used to working with younger players, and with the Penguins having 30 draft picks over the next 3 years, you certainly want a player that can develop young talent. And yeah, I was happy to hear him say that. So I'm more on board with this new coach now than I was before we talked to Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad he was able to give us some insight on this. That's why I brought him on today. He was supposed to be on last week. We were supposed to talk about who they were going to hire, but now that they've hired somebody, that's good news for everybody. All right, let's go into our show or our studio sponsor. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I got the wrong graphic. But anyway, Keystone Coachworks. Call them today, 412-833-1900. Smokin' Jim passes by every day on his way to Bethel Park to be on Pittsburgh Sports Line, which is on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Bethel Park TV. Tune in, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Al Levine, the Talking Machines, Chip Hayner, or Mike Rohde, or whoever's on the show. And, excuse me, the guy who lost the election for chief dog catcher in Greentree. Excuse me. Nick, I believe his name is Nick Callis, and he'll be on as well. But Keystone Coachworks, call them today. If you're handicapped like I am, you need a van, handicap accessible van like I bought. Well, stop at Keystone Coachworks. Talk to Dawn. Tell Dawn, hey, look, I need something accessible. Tell him Ralph Williams sent you. I need a handicap accessible van. I'm interested. They will fix it up to your specifications. If you need a swivel seat, if you need extra belts, if you need something equipped, they will do it to your specifications. And get this, there's financing available as well. So let's say you can't afford to walk in with a heap of money and hand it to them. But you know what? If you want to do payments, there's financing available. Don will work everything he can out to get you into a van. If you are handicapped like I am in a wheelchair, I have to take care of my handicapped brethren here. So please call Keystone Coachworks today. If you are handicapped as I am and need a wheelchair accessible van, give them a call. 412-833-1900 in Western Pennsylvania, PA area, located in Bethel Park, right on Route 88. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning is our studio sponsor, 724-201-0500. Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. Also, don't forget, right after this program, coming up at 5 o'clock, we have Wrestle Talk with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, 5 to 5:30. Today, we will talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on Saturday and what happened last night on Raw, and a whole lot more coming up here. Later on, who was the men's Money in the Bank, women's Money in the Bank? Some people are making returns, making debuts. It is just crazy, crazy, crazy in the WWE right now. And we'll be talking about that as well, AEW, and a whole lot more coming up at 5 o'clock. So, all right, let's go to the comment section here. We have a new one here. Let's see what we got. Let's see here. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. We got Josh Dorr here, it looks like, I think. Hold on, let me see who this is here. Somebody's saying hello. I don't know who it is. Having issues with my eyes again, folks, so just bear with me. Nope, Jacob Trey, it says, hello there, Penguin. No, I'm not a Penguin, but, hello to you as well. We did talk about the Penguins. We had Matt VENSEL on for a few here, and he had to go, and we had Ray FIDEPALDOAND on. We were lucky to get both of these guys on today. Today's a multiple super show. We're talking about the Penguins, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pirates, Smokin' Jim, 4-game winning streak. What are your thoughts on this right now?
Well, I only have one issue with the coach. And I listened to the game when Paul Skeens pitched. He got 2 batters out right away, used very few pitches. And a third batter came up, and the manager pulled him. Which if he'd have got one more batter out, he would have won the game, because the next inning, McCutcheon, came home on a run. So Paul Skeens is just he just can't seem to get consistent batting from the Pirates. He only gave up 3 hits and 1 run, which was unearned, and he still didn't get a victory.
Right.
At least he didn't get a loss.
No, at least he didn't get a loss, but it's been pretty sad this year for him. I feel bad for Paul Skeens. He's on a bad team with a bad owner who I've beat up on this program, and I'm going to continue to do so until he sells the team, because, this is just unacceptable, and a lot of people don't seem to realize that. I mean, so don't forget tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, the Ralph's Opinion Show. Wait till you see the topic I have for tomorrow night. You ready for this? I'm going after the insurance companies, because I think the insurance companies are discriminating. And I'm talking about discriminating something big time against people who own modular homes, modular manufactured homes. I have one here, okay? I have a modular manufactured home. I can't get insurance. You know why? Because the insurance companies are discriminating. So guess what? I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. The Trump thing in Los Angeles. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. Ralph's Opinion Show, 7 o'clock right here on our normal social media platforms, and soon to be on the Oracle Radio Network. All right. So, Smokin' Jim, any final thoughts before we wrap things up? Because we're getting ready to wrap things up to get ready for the Wrestle Talk show.
No, we had some really great guests on today. They brought some good insight, and it makes sense. Coach Tomlin, clearly the best coach in the city of Pittsburgh. He made the decision that why would you put your franchise quarterback in team drills when he hadn't been around the team yet? Let him learn the offense, let him get familiar with the players. There's plenty of time for him to do team drills. So I'm glad he was just isolated individual drills today.
All right. Let's get back to the Steelers for signing Aaron Rodgers. And one other thing too that I want to say, I just got a text from one of my other Steeler guys that I know of. It's down there. He said that Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers just left in Mike Tomlin's car, and they're on their way to the Burger King on the south side to have Whopper or something. So they're on their way for that. So just to let everyone know that, all right? Because, Coach Mediocre Mike is a big fan of Burger King. So I just want to let everyone know that. So, if you don't already know. So, all right, for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. It's been a pleasure being with you again today. You can watch the replay of this show on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X, and also on the Kick Network. We are now on in the Huddle Sports Network. We're also on the Huddle Sports Network's Facebook and YouTube channel, so check it out on there as well. And also, please don't forget to check out all my other shows. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I want to talk about Pensman Sports. He has some great content on YouTube and then on Twitter X. Don't forget about my Ralph Reports. I do a sports report. I do a I also do a regular Ralph report, and tonight I'm doing a later on today or tonight, probably later on after supper, because I'm having steak and baked potato tonight. Smoking Jim, you're welcome. Come on down.
Sounds good, brother.
But anyway, what I wanted to say was later on tonight, I'm going to have a special edition of the sports edition of the Ralph Report. And also we'll have a Ralph Report coming up later on as well. Tomorrow night, Ralph's opinion, are the insurance companies discriminating against people who own modular and manufactured homes? I think they are. I think they need to be hauled to the carpet. And you know me, I'll haul you to the carpet if I have to. And don't forget Thursday, the way I see it with me, Ralph Williams, and my guest will be Tony Moreno, my co-host on the Ralph Williams Tony Moreno show on Saturdays on 12:50 a.m. The Answer. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Have yourself a great one. Thank you.